Okay, so let's get going. Welcome to another week of GoPro Mastery. I hope you are getting a ton of value, just like I am, from all of these amazing training sessions every Monday night. For those who don't know me, my name is Cindy Yealland. I am a Platinum 1 Elite 3, just from outside of Toronto, Canada. I'm about an hour northeast from Toronto. So if that kind of puts you in a geographical realm where we're teasing with spring, it's coming and going ever so much these days. But tonight I wanted to talk to you about embracing your mess. Okay, something that we can all relate to in one way or another. We're all messy. We all have moments from our childhood or past experiences that have made us exactly who we are and have molded our beliefs and thoughts. Okay, so maybe you're even going through a bit of a mess right now, and that's all right. So these circumstances and thoughts are all things that feed our fears and hold us back from greatness. I wanted to focus tonight on how to identify these things, to look at them in a different perspective, and give ourselves permission to embrace them and move past them into our full potential. Because to embrace our mess and push through all makes us us. Okay, so I want to start with the basics. The basics of what exactly is a thought. A thought is something that you actually build. And I found this so interesting. It's a result of three actions. You think, and when you think, you feel. And when you think and feel, you choose. Okay, so it's those three actions that are always stuck together. You can't do one without the other. You are always thinking, feeling, and choosing. So during the course of the day, you are continually thinking, feeling, and choosing in response to the experiences of life that's happening around you. All right. And then at nighttime, when we sleep, we are sorting, our mind is sorting those thoughts and putting them into compartments when we sleep. So it's all a combination of data and emotion all mixed together. You are processing information daily through this filter. So as a result, our past thoughts can form future thoughts. What you experienced in the environment you grew up in is definitely going to affect how you see yourself and others. Every experience is converted through think, feel, choose in our brain. So toxic thoughts can mold our future thoughts, just as good thoughts can mold our future thoughts. We all have a wise side of our mind, and we also have a toxic side of our mind. And our thoughts will always fall into one bucket or another. But it's which bucket are we feeding the most? We continually need to get into a system of mind management through self-regulation, okay? We need to constantly self-regulate, looking for patterns of when toxic thoughts come forward through periods of repetition, anxiousness, self-doubt, patterns of when we feel negative, and start the habit of replacing those toxic thoughts with wise thoughts, okay? So you can go 3 weeks without food. You can go 3 days without water. You can go 3 minutes without oxygen, but you can't even go 3 seconds without using your mind, okay? You are always thinking, feeling, and choosing, and mind can change matter. It really can. If our mind is messy, our body is messy. And if our thoughts and mind are cleaned up, the effects will trickle positively throughout our entire body. You are always aligned in mind and body, both in negative and positive ways. We need to learn how to manage our minds and deal with our mental mess, accepting that we are going to make bad decisions. Yes. We are going to misunderstand people. Yes. We are going to have imposter syndrome or be all too people pleasing. These are all part of what make us us from past experiences. There is no shame in being messy. All right. But the question is, how are we going to manage it? And how quickly can we manage it? So there's 5 steps to cleaning up our mind. All right. Number 1 is awareness. Number 2 is reflect. Number 3 is to write. 4 is check. And 5 is new action. So I'll go through each one. So let's start with number 1 is awareness. All right. This is the biggest area of improving our toxic mind. When we think of a messy mind or all the toxic stuff in our head when things are bad and we feel overwhelmed, we think of dark black clouds typically, right? It's kind of what we're trained to think of these things as if they're like a negative black mass in our brain. But if we start to be more aware of them, and let's imagine them as being not so daunting and dark, if we can look at our mind when it's like, take a different perspective and think of it differently, then we can deal with it differently, right? So let's imagine instead our messy mind as a big fat apple tree. Okay, our messy, discombobulated, chaotic mind, overwhelm, whatever, is going to be a big fat apple tree instead. So it's so full of apples. Okay, this tree is so massive and full of apples that if you were to even nudge it, the apples would fall on your head. Okay, doesn't that feel like sometimes like everything's coming at you at once? When our minds are so full and such a mess that everything is just falling on our head at once and it's all too much, okay? So what we can do when we feel this way is to remove ourselves from the tree. If things are falling on our head, we need to step back from the tree so they don't fall on our head anymore, right? Don't be scared of it or run away from it, but just simply step back and observe the apple tree from a distance. Try to take a bigger view of what's happening inside our mind and all that is cluttering it from a broader perspective. When we are aware of our thoughts or patterns, they begin to lose power over us. We become separate from the thoughts when we observe them. When we are above them or looking at them from a different direction and we're aware of them, they don't have that power over us anymore. We're not getting hit on the head and getting overwhelmed by the apples. So this is exactly why we talk about waiting 24 hours to respond to any type of conflict or negative issue that has arisen in our business or dealing with other people. In a heightened state, we are not thinking clearly. And we will tend to overreact and say something we don't truly mean, right? We are stuck under the apple tree, too busy getting pelted with apples, and we just blurt things out and say things that we regret. When we pause and step back from the apple tree, step back from the situation, things become clearer, and you wait your 24 hours to respond. Okay, so then the next step is to reflect. So what's the data? What really is going on? We're looking from our apple tree from a distance. And what's the data? We're going to ask, answer, discuss, ask ourselves, analyze what happened, and discuss. We're going to keep asking ourselves why. Keep asking over and over why to pull further thoughts out. Okay. We're going to pull thoughts out, put our thoughts on trial. We're going to ask, answer, and discuss to ourselves. The next stage, number 3, is write. We're going to journal. Okay. This is where we really let our emotions fly. It's a messy part, but that's okay. We pour our brains on paper and we put our thoughts down, and our words are allowed to grow. Okay. We're going to create trees with our words. We're going to put our words as if they're branches and expand our thoughts through our words, branch by branch. The different perspectives will emerge. They become like future wise thoughts and actions that can instantly flow in the moment. This is a messy step with no form. The point is to get your thoughts and just dump them onto paper. Okay. So number 4 is to check. We want to check what we've written. Start making connections between what we put down on paper. This is making the connections of the mess. What are the patterns? What do we need to reconceptualize in order to make things different, in order to make new observations? Okay. And number 5 is new action. What can I change? Out of all of that income, and things that I put down and feelings that emerged, what can I change? Have you ever thought after a discussion with someone, oh, if I'd only said it this way, or if I meant to really say that? Well, this is your chance to do it. This is your chance to really train yourself to act in this new way when this arises again next time. You want to recorrect the course or the errors that you've made in the past, right? So it's doing the work in the previous steps will solidify this new way of handling these situations. So our minds are also filled with conflicting thoughts. Have you ever said to yourself something like, I want to be in a loving relationship, but on the other hand, I don't feel like I deserve to be loved? Or I want my business to grow, but I am not feeling worthy of success. Okay, so those are 2 contradicting words or thought phrases, right? You want it, but you don't want it. And when thoughts drastically butt heads with one another, we're wiring ourselves for pain. We're wiring ourselves, forcing ourselves to chase our tail, like we're going in a contradicting motion here. So first of all, we need to normalize this. We all have these thoughts, right? We all think one thing and do another with our stronger fear-based reactions. But know that this can be fixed. Through awareness, you can step back from it, acknowledge it, and then when ready, step back into the tree and do the work to push past it, okay? We often flee from disorder. When things are all disarrayed, we feel that it's a bad thing. We've associated disorder as a bad thing. We have a phobia of disarray. But when order is lost, that's where fear lies. When our brains are cluttered and a fear is present, we stop action. But on the contrary, if you flip that, it's actually on the edge of chaos where the magic happens. When we embrace our own mess, get vulnerable with it, and really work through it, creativity and expanded ideas can flow. And there's my doorbell. We shall ignore. This is why it's important that your body and mind exist on the edge of our comfort zone, okay? It's the stem of creativity, spontaneity, and genius. When we're on that edge, that's when the good things happen. We need to get lost in our own beautiful disaster. So taking uncomfortable action and attacking our fears head on is where we truly start to grow. Courage is moving forward in the face of fear. And in turn, the action will create impact and more confidence to keep doing it again and again. I'll repeat that. Action will create impact and more confidence to keep doing it over and over. So know that you don't have to be perfect. None of us are, okay? That's the whole point of this. We often compare ourselves to others who seem to have it all going perfectly though, don't we? Trust me, they don't. Nobody is perfect. Social media has skewed us to all put our best foot forward and often portray something that we're not. Remember, you are watching everyone else's highlight reel, right? They've all taken their perfect photos. They've probably taken 20 photos to get that perfect one that they're putting forward. They've all staged the shot, right? It's one thing to know this, but it's another to accept it. Comparing ourselves to others gets us nowhere, but yet we all do it. When we beat ourselves up for comparing ourselves to others, knowing we shouldn't do it. We all know we shouldn't compare, but yet it's a hard habit to stop, right? So you've heard it before that comparisons kill, but what exactly are they killing? What are comparisons killing? Well, to start with, they're killing our joy, right? They're killing your internal joy. Comparisons plant seeds of doubt and kill your spirit and energy. They kill your inner belief. You need to be okay with others doing them and you doing you, right? Don't take your focus off of what you need to be doing in your business and what you should be already grateful for. Spin your vision of their success, right? You see them as this perfect picture. Spin that from a negative emotion to a positive emotion. You need to spin that into the fact that anything is possible. They've proven it. If they've done it, so can you. And it has to be, it might have taken them years of effort to achieve what they have. They didn't get there overnight, right? None of us do. You are just catching their latest chapter out of their whole life's novel. You might be starting your own novel, okay? So you can't compare, we often hear you can't compare their chapter 27 to your chapter 5. You are putting yourself through this pain. This is the key. You are putting yourself through this pain. You choose. You choose how you show up. You choose how you react. You choose how you speak. You choose your friends. You choose your environment and how you live in it. And you can always choose better. You can always choose to be better. Okay? We spend so much time trying to round off our square edges, or we get frustrated seeking other people's approval. We give too much power to others who don't truly matter. It's our own square edges that make us unique. You have to rewrite your script, okay? You have to change your thought process to go from a toxic mind to your wise mind. Sorry, and I'm just going to just give me 1 second. I have to make sure everybody is muted. There we go. Okay. So you have to make a conscious effort to go from a toxic mind to a wise mind. All right. You have to rewrite your script. You know that someone is also comparing themselves to you. Someone is looking up to you as being that perfect person. What are you wanting to portray to them? Okay. Are you wanting to be someone that you are not? Or do you want to show them what's possible in a positive light? What do you need to do to be okay with your own journey and your own goals? I love this. If anybody was on the special training a couple of weekends ago, not last weekend, the weekend before, Andrea Gebhardt said it best. and she might have been referring to it in a slightly different context, but it sure fits still with this, is that when she said it's not actually the business and product posts that we make about Modair that get us our customers. It's all the other posts in between that we make that actually get us those customers and new teammates, okay? It's the posts that have absolutely nothing to do with Modair that create the relationships and show the world who we are, okay? They are buying us. They are buying our hot mess. Ever notice that the perfectly curated and scripted posts don't get much traction at all from your friends? But the second that we get vulnerable, authentic, and real, and we show that we're a hot mess, and even call ourselves out on things, people instantly relate. The comments flow, your audience is engaged, the post is blown up, everybody likes to see you fail, right? We are turning our mind monsters into our best attributes. That is our best, truest brand, is when we're real, okay? It's simply portraying who we really are. So we are changing the way people react and the behaviors we choose. So get on the hot mess express, choo-choo, embrace it, okay? We all know changes work, and this is the hard part. Changes work, vulnerability is hard. It invites external friction, and many of us don't like friction, okay? It's like asking for all of our enemies to emerge and give their opinions and tell us what they like about us and don't like about us. But we shouldn't apologize for our square edges either. Hold us down. And if anybody doesn't know the crabs in the bucket analogy, it's part of the nature. You can stick a whole bunch of crabs in a bucket that technically they could easily climb out of, but they never ever will. And it's the law of the mass will always try, and that one that's trying to escape, they'll always pull it down. So a fisherman could literally leave a bucket of crabs on the dock and not one would escape because the group will not allow them to. Okay, that's their nature. So group thinkers feel like gatekeepers, don't they? How much energy in your life are you giving to these gatekeepers? So-called friends, bad bosses, family who don't pay your bills. Don't settle for the way people think is right. Play by your own rules, okay? Measure yourself to your own standards, not the gatekeeper's standards. And I also want to touch on adopting other people's messes too. This was a big one for me. Often we get swayed or pulled in by other people's opinions and we take on their messes, right? We have our own share of messes. We don't need to take on other people's messes. Hold your moral ground, be a good listener as a friend, but protect yourself. You do you. Don't take on their mess as your own, okay? Your brand is based on the axis of time and the action you take. That is how we are measured. Your legacy is your body of work that is done over your entire lifetime. Know that our work is never truly done, and we are never finished in this life until we take our last breath. The sooner we embrace our mess and grow through it, the sooner we can start helping others who are struggling just the same. We will attract who we are meant to attract. The saying that you can never say the wrong thing to the right person holds so true. If you are meant to be in their world and they are meant to be in your world, the universe will make that happen. Okay, so don't worry about screwing up the conversation or making sure you've got the script just right. If your worlds were meant to collide, they will. Okay, so keep putting your best foot forward with your greatest intentions, that wise mind. with a vulnerable and creative spirit, and you will be attracting your following. Okay. So vulnerability moment here. When Sarah reached out to me last week to confirm tonight's training, I asked her, so what do you want me to train on? Right. I think I'm pretty well-rounded. I've been with Modere for 5 years. I know comp plan. I know this. I'm interpersonally, I think I'm okay. But she said, oh, just talk about whatever you feel comfortable with and what's on your heart. Right. And that opened a can of worms for me. And my mind went wild. And I thought, like, where do I start? Right. So what seemed to come forward was this: embracing your mess. And often things that come forward are the things that we also need to work on and develop. Things come to us when they need to, right? So when I say we all deal with things, I am all there too. I know everyone on here does as well. No one is perfect. But it is in how we choose to deal with these messes that tells us what kind of leader we are. It's through that continual work of growing that wise mind daily that our development shows. All right. I know so many of us play small as well. That's me. We are capable of so much more than what we actually do. With this awareness, I am self-identifying, I am embracing my own mess, and I'm getting out in front of them more often. Okay, I'm observing that apple tree, my own apple tree, and I'm growing through it. And so with small baby steps, we can improve our authenticity and go forward more consistently without being perfect. Okay, embracing our differences, attracting who we're meant to serve, and live unapologetically. I am okay going live and having it suck. Are you? I am okay taking a pic without having my hair being perfect. Are you? I am okay knowing I am a work in progress, and tomorrow I will be better than I am today. It's okay, and I'm doing the do even when I don't feel like doing it. All right. So guys, month end is here. Things are electric. I hope you can feel it. It's freaking Black Friday in April. Who'da thunk? Who feels the energy, right? Who feels it? What we focus on grows. So don't let the messes of your life stop you and even remotely slow you down. Now's not the time. So keep your goals in front of you, put your blinders on. Who cares what others are doing? Focus on your own goals for month end, for this year. We are in momentum. Like, this is insane. Embrace your mess and stretch yourself to new heights. Okay. So thank you for your time tonight. Go get it, and good night.
Thank you, Cindy. That was so good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Cindy. So
Thank you,
good.
Cindy.
Fantastic.
Thank you.